Sports Scene, Hampton Road's premier interview show with Greg Bicouvaris, each Saturday from 10 a.m. to 11.
And you look at that, 4-4 at home, which is just average, 4-3-1 on the road. I mean, you're not going to win any games like that. They were not the same team after they beat the Packers, yet the Packers were a totally different team.
Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter @GregBic and listen weekly as Greg interviews distinguished guests with excellent commentary and insight. Sports Scene, Saturdays at 10 a.m. on the Lighthouse 100.1 FM. From Chesapeake, Virginia, the Lighthouse 100.1 presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter @GregBic. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
Sports Scene presented by Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com. Greg Bicouvaris along with Andrew. Glad you're with us. Hope you enjoyed the nice holiday season and, of course, the new year as well. Sports Scene midweek online, Saturday on the radio on WPMH, AM 1010, 100.1 FM, and TuneIn.com. Type WPMH in the search bar. Tell your friends. Celebrating 6+ years on these owned and operated stations right here. Tell your friends about Sports Scene. Twitter @GregBic and, of course, @GJBTV. And you can see the rest of my Twitter handles on GJBTV.com. Thank you to our military. Guest lineup presented by Jimmy DeGreeks with 2 locations in Yorktown and Virginia Beach. Santa Claus is even coming there at both locations. And, of course, he's always hiring good employees. Phone line presented by Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville in Virginia Beach. GJBTV.com for all the great audio and video information you need as far as media buying and sales. College football bowl season is right here. NFL, NBA, college basketball. Sports Scene was on the Game Radio, TV, now 6+ years on the WPMH family, formerly WHK2. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Great interviews, excellent guests, business segments, highlights, commentary, what teased me off. Thank you for listening to Sports Scene. We love our regulars, tourists who listen online and on the radio. And thank our good friends at Sakura Japanese Restaurant in Chesapeake on Sam's Drive and Oyami Sushi off of Great Neck Road in Virginia Beach. Stay tuned.
Catch up on archived editions of Sports Scene by going to GJBTV.com and clicking the YouTube image on the homepage. Now back to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris.
CP Shuckers, local tradition on Shore Drive, Pacific Avenue. Delicious food, great appetizers, steak bites, sandwiches, burgers, all the games on TV. Go by and see Matt, Mark, Chef Leon. Like CP Shuckers on Facebook. Great specials 7 days a week. It's a pleasure to be back on Sports Scene. Greg Bick on Twitter to talk to our good friend Bill Bishop. We've had him on Sports Highlights, Sports Scene over the years. Former voice of the Tides, the Michigan Wolverines. Bill, good to talk to you.
Good to be with you, Greg.
Very good. I got to ask you first, Bill, have you been doing much karaoke lately?
Yeah, I sing almost every Friday night at a local restaurant, and occasionally on Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, almost any night but Monday.
Well, let's get right to it, Bill. Old Dominion football parted ways with Bobby Walter, their only coach in school history. And on the other side, the men's basketball team, which made the NCAA tournament, has had a very difficult December.
Yeah, they have. I wasn't terribly surprised at Bobby's fate, although he's so popular, I think everybody loved the guy and will continue to love the guy and hope that he lands in a nice position in the future after he leaves ODU. The basketball team surprises me a little bit, but from what I've seen, they've got major problems really in the middle or up front, because their tall players, their centers and forwards are lacking offensively. They play defense pretty hard, but they're having a lot of trouble scoring. And now the backcourt hasn't been producing like they should either. So it could be a long year, but we've got a couple of new players lined up to come in, and that could make a difference.
And Bill's right there on press row, seeing every home game for the men and the women. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us. This is Sports Scene, heard every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 on AM 1010, 100.1 FM, tunein.com. Type in WPMH in the search bar. Well, We mentioned Bobby Wilder. He probably thought he was going to go into Never Never Land, be there forever. It didn't work out that way as he transitioned from FCS to FBS. A couple things, he's gotten a little bit older, and he probably thought, this is my job, my one and only head coaching job in the last decade plus. I'll probably like to retire here. It didn't work out that way, despite several years in a row of assistant coaching changes, too.
Well, he's going to be comfortable, whatever he does, with a nice buyout package. But I can see him possibly even moving up to an assistant job, or perhaps a head coach at a equalized transfer, or maybe a lower classification.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he transitions, whether he takes a year off or not. You can tell he was definitely hurt in the press conference. Usually at a big-time school, they'll give the coach the respect of resigning as opposed to being fired, as you well know, Bill.
And that's really what happened at Old Dominion. I think it was handled pretty well, and I don't think Bobby leaves with too many regrets.
Well, recently we saw a landmark. Virginia finally beat Virginia Tech for the first time in 10-plus years.
Yeah, indeed, and I was surprised. I thought I'd be neutral about that game, but personally I found myself rooting for the Cavaliers to end that long losing streak. You mentioned my affiliation with the University of Michigan, and they're stuck in a bad hole trying to catch up with Ohio State, and that wears rather heavily on me.
Yeah, I think it does, because Harbaugh was hired to beat Ohio State. I mean, one thing is to beat your teams you're supposed to beat, like Northwestern, Illinois, Wisconsin, Purdue, but you still want to beat your arch rival. And you and I talked about it. I asked you earlier off the air, I said, who's their biggest rival, Notre Dame, Michigan State, or Ohio State? And you've quite frankly said Ohio State. I knew that, but Notre Dame has also been a big rival for Michigan as well. Oh,
yeah, but not as long as Ohio State. Michigan State doesn't even hold that record. It just goes way, way back, my entire lifetime, which is considerable now, and I have followed it every year and lived and died with it, and it's been a rough stretch for the Blue here the last 15 years.
And Harbaugh can coach, folks. I mean, he led the 49ers to a Super Bowl. He can develop quarterbacks. I think he's got a solid team, but everything is not always clicking, Bill. They're coming from behind against some teams, and you really have to be clicking on all cylinders to make that top four, like LSU and, teams like that, Ohio State, Clemson. Offense, defense, special teams has to be in sync for 60 minutes. I mean, look at Alabama. They've slipped just a little bit this year.
Well, the thing with Michigan, and I speak as a Michigan alum, is that Michigan is a very proud school and likes to consider itself more than what some other schools would be characterized as football factories. And I guess that gives us some solace, the way the football team has performed of late. I recently saw where people were saying, well, Harbaugh wins 9 games every year at Michigan. But as you just mentioned, and I would certainly reiterate, there is really, at this point, and the way things have gone the last several years, there is one game that matters and one game that everybody points to in Ann Arbor, and that is the end of November.
And that's the one game they remember who won or lost as well.
Exactly. It hangs over to the next season.
It really does. I mean, that's the one thing Tressel said when he first got hired, is he already talked about Michigan. He dominated Michigan as well. The person that did not do well against Michigan was John Cooper.
Right. That was a friendly era for the Blue. Earl Bruce had done okay, but things have just not been the same since Tressel and Urban Meyer and now Ryan Day have come to the fore.
Yeah, they thought he was going to beat a rookie coach, that's for sure. Speaking of Harbaugh, Joe Flacco, who was coached by his brother, the MVP of Super Bowl 47, started several games last year for the Ravens. And then, of course, he was the cornerstone of the franchise before being traded to the Broncos. But look at Lamar Jackson, Bill, from Louisville, has led the team to new heights. Now, one thing about Flacco is he did win a Super Bowl, just like Billick won way back in the early 2000s. The thing is, do you think Lamar Jackson has enough of skill set to win a Super Bowl?
Well, that remains to be seen. He's got to get by New England ultimately, and maybe a couple of other teams. But he does seem to have the skill set, as you put it, which is a popular modern phrase, to carry it off. Of course, running quarterbacks, everybody looks at them somewhat skeptically in the NFL, but he has pulled it off. He has been amazing. He's probably the best thing since, I don't know, I'm going out on a limb. I don't know, Steve Young, Fran Tarkenton, guys like that who ran. So, of course, Russell Wilson does a very nice job, too. But, and that's one team that they're, I wouldn't be at all surprised if that was our Super Bowl, Seattle and Baltimore. But Lamar Jackson is a generational player.
He sure is. I mean, he definitely does remind you of a lot of Michael Vick. I think Vick had a better throwing arm than he does, better passer, but I think they're about equal as far as running. And
there you go. He is more, modern than the other two that I mentioned.
Yeah, definitely. Talking to Bill Bishop, former voice of the Tides as well. And Bill, I got to get your thoughts. You follow baseball better than anybody in this area. Your thoughts on the Nationals. Can they repeat? That's the big thing. Can they repeat in 2020? Nobody expected them to make the postseason.
Well, so much depends really on the chemistry was just magical last year, especially at the end of the year. So much depends on whether Rendon and Strasburg come back. I see where Ryan Zimmerman wants to play, for them. They've got a ton of talent. Soto, to me, practically is a Hall of Famer already. He's only 20 years old. So they have one of the greatest players, really, probably in the next generation, on their team. It's a matter of in this day and age, it's a matter of keeping teams together, and in Washington's case, keeping that chemistry going, because it was almost magical at the end of the year.
Absolutely. Talking to Bill Bishop. This is Sports Scene at Greg Bick on Twitter, GREGBIC, celebrating 6+ years on these stations. Before we did it on Red Zebra, and of course on NNPS TV. Sports Scene had a TV segment as well. Talking to Bill Bishop, and Bill, it's sports is always evolving. That's the thing about teams in general. Then you talk about college football. I'm very intrigued by this top 4. I think it's a great idea. I think they maybe need to expand maybe to 8 in the future. But LSU and Ohio State to me look like they're on fire to meet in early January.
Well, you're never going to satisfy all of college football, man. You'll satisfy more of them if you go to 8 teams. That, of course, means another game or 2 or 3, and that can be problematical when it comes to football and injuries and length of season. But, a 4-team playoff has worked pretty well now for, 7 or 8 years. You usually wind up with a pretty darn good champion. Of course, Clemson and Alabama have dominated the past several years.
Talking to Bill Bishop, Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us. And moving back, to college football, I was there when Virginia beat Virginia Tech when Schaub was quarterback in UVA way back in 2003. And of course, they've had great coaches in the past like George Welsh, and of course, Al Groh coached them as well, the former Jets coach Virginia. I'm curious about Fuente's future at Virginia Tech. I think he did a very good job this year. You can't beat Virginia every year, just like Ohio State eventually will lose to Michigan once in a blue moon. But I think Virginia's really lucky. They've got a really good coach in Mendenhall, and Tech has got a solid coach in Fuente.
Well, the school was out on Fuente, early in the season after Tech stumbled around a little bit. But I think they both have quite a long future ahead of them at Tech and Virginia. I would make that guess at this point.
We mentioned the start of the show about Bobby Walter. Who do you think will replace him? I mean, there's a lot of people out there. I'm looking at maybe Beamer's son, who's been an assistant football coach, Frank Beamer's son, Shane.
He seems to be the leading candidate. I would think they would take a good look at Chris Beatty, who had so much success in high school here and then has gone on to any number of other jobs. There doesn't seem to be anybody exactly on the horizon, and I think it'll be quite interesting when they make that decision.
All right, Bill, leave us with something. You like a lot of different hobbies. You like to sing. You like done karaoke. You've done Frank Sinatra singing. What is next on the horizon for you?
Well, I'll keep going. I'm not getting any younger, and I'm enjoying retirement. And I'll tell you this, I really enjoy going to the ODU basketball games, both men and women. And let me just quickly say that I think the women are headed for real heights here under their current coach and with the talent that they've got. So following ODU sports is an awful lot of fun.
Absolutely. Got a brand new stadium. They just need some more wins to go with it in football, and looks like they're going to need some more wins for men's basketball. Like you said, the women's basketball team definitely is on the rise with the former standout who played for Tennessee. It took her a few years, but it seems like she's starting to click. But the attendance has been an issue, though, for them.
Well, it has. It's nowhere where it used to be, but then again, we were winning, national championships, and that's an uphill fight, certainly with all the superpowers now gaining strength in women's basketball. It is interesting that Old Dominion was a real pioneer in that area with Jim Jarrett and, Wendy. But they have a long way to go, but I think they're definitely headed in the right direction under the coach.
Yeah, and Marianne Stanley in the past.
Yeah.
All right, Bill, all the best to you, my friend, and we will talk to you more in 2020 as it evolves.
Thank you very much. We'll look forward to it.
Thank you. Bill Bishop right there on Sports Scene. We'll be back after these messages.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win Automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Like them on Facebook and visit them at 2711 Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 485-5555 today.
And welcome back to Sports Scene. It's a pleasure to always talk to our monthly featured guest, our showcase guest, George McClain with the Marksman of Newport News. George, happy December. Hope you're doing well.
I am, Greg. How about yourself?
Very good, very good. Just plugging along as we all can and everything. George, I guess we alluded to this a little bit in the show last month. When it gets dark earlier, there's more things you have to do with your personal property. I'm amazed still today, George, that people leave their car unlocked in public places when they constantly are warned, even during the non-holiday season, that things can happen.
Well, very true. The only way I know you can fix any of this is to keep harping on it. Education is a thing. But as a comedian is famous for saying, you can't fix stupid. You can repeat this stuff over and over and over again, and some people, for whatever reason, just don't grasp the importance of it. And at some point in time, we have to be responsible, for ourselves and the actions that we take or don't take. In this instance.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes things happen. Somebody could be waiting for you down the street. You could be in a situation where you have to get by several cars, whatever. But in addition to being safe on the road, you got to be safe where you park your car as well. And that's what I was alluding
Absolutely.
to. Military Mondays and First Responder Fridays. It's the holiday season. What other type of specials are going on this month? Always a special month of the Marksman.
Well, we had some. We did a Black Friday thing and had some reductions on some holsters and other accessories. And we may follow that up, before Christmas with some other things. So we're kind of looking at that right now. Everyone's full of questions on what's going to, the latest political landscape. How's that going to affect things going forward? And we really don't have a clear picture. I've got an educated guess on that. So it's not to scare people into doing anything, but everyone needs to kind of do their own research with that and read between the lines and make the decision whether they want to make any kind of purchases now before any law changes, coming up down the road.
Absolutely, of course. And, one thing is the House might be different, the Senate might be different, and, of course, who knows what will happen in November of 2020. Talking to George McClain from The Marksman, let's talk about somebody who's never been to your store before. What can they expect when they first walk in? Of course, they're greeted by friendly attendants that help them, and you're also open 7 days a week.
Yeah, hopefully, when they walk in the door, they're going to get a welcome. And as you look in, you're going to see really two sides of the house. On the left side is kind of our retail side. If you're looking at purchasing something, a firearm, you want to take a look at the different ones that we have, or have questions that you want answered, then that's fine too. And then on the right-hand side is where we process everyone coming in for the range to actually shoot. So we'll run you down the table, you sign your liability form, and pay your fee, and we'll direct you right onto the range with the lane assignment. We've got full facilities for everyone, restrooms, and all of that. So hopefully every time you come in, you see a nice, clean, friendly place.
Yeah, George, during the holiday season, sometimes, unfortunately, you do see robberies at stores. They happen at restaurants. They happen at banks, unfortunately. They can happen anywhere, gunpoint and so forth. Sometimes you'll see these videos on YouTube about, people trying to take on the criminal themselves. That can always turn out to be deadly. 9 times out of 10, that's probably not a good idea. You've always preached to call 911 if you can. But let's say you can't call 911. What do you recommend?
Well, you need to, I tell folks all the time in my concealed classes, and we've got one coming up this Sunday, which I'm going to be teaching myself. You're the only judge, and the law is kind of written around you. It tells us what we can't do, but in evaluating that to determine what we can do, you're the only judge that's there. And if something is happening that's putting you in a legal term here, putting you in a reasonable fear for your life or of serious bodily injury to yourself or another person, could be a family member that's with you or something, then you have the right to take whatever action is deemed necessary to stop that attack. So the first thing, obviously, if you have an escape path to get away, if you see something developing, just leave. When we talk about self-defense, fully 90% of self-defense is keeping you out of situations that might require you to use self-defense. So common sense plays a big part here. The other 10% is being prepared, and that means having a something to defend yourself with, and having the proper training and knowledge of using that particular instrument to defend yourself. So we can get into a lot of deep and serious things here, but the biggest thing is being aware, being cognizant of your surroundings, and keep an eye out if things start looking unsavory. Make your escape before it gets any deeper than that. I would rather see someone turn around and leave a situation and be totally wrong about it than to stay and get involved in an altercation that they just maybe a minute or 2 minutes earlier did have an opportunity to leave and didn't, because they didn't recognize the signs. So I can't tell you what all those signs are. I could give you 1,000 of them, and if something else changes, now you got 1,001 or 1,002. There's more on the list than people can come up with. But that's why I say you have to be the judge and interpret what you see going on, but always err on that side of caution. If it doesn't look good, leave.
Talking to George McClain, giving us some great advice from the Marksman of Newport News. Greg Bicouvaris at Greg Bick on Twitter. Glad you're with us. Google the Marksman of Newport News. To talk about some of your classes, George, how the public can get involved, how they can sign up for the future.
Well, typically the ones we'll talk about right now are the for the concealed class, and you can call or you'll stop in and you can sign up for the class. You can go online, and typically the schedule is there for at least a month or two, and you can take a look at the classes. But it's the holidays kind of mess the scheduling up a little bit, but typically we'll run the concealed class every other Sunday. That starts at 1 o'clock. And it starts at 1. So if you're going to be there, you need to be there like a quarter till 1, get your seat and get all your stuff done that you want to do so we can start the class at 1 o'clock. We typically have a lot of people, we tell them it starts at 1 o'clock and they pull in the parking lot at 1 o'clock, and then they wind up either missing or we've got to delay everybody until everyone gets in and gets seated. And it'll run about 6 to 6.5 hours, depending on how many people we have. How fast or slow folks move once we get onto the range and this kind of stuff. So, but you'll stop in. You can pay everything with credit cards. You can do that over the phone. If you're not comfortable doing it over the phone, you can just stop in and sign up in person for that class, or down the road you can schedule for whatever class that you would like for the concealed. Now, on the professional side of things, we also we're a licensed school, licensed by the state of Virginia, to do security training for armed security guards, private investigators, all this kind of stuff. So we've got about 9 other certifications that we can provide training for. And so I'm not going to get into specifics on that, but you can certainly come in. We've got a lot of printed material. If you're interested in that you can get a copy of, take home, and look and see which classes that you want to take.
Talking to George McClain from the Marksman and Newport News, and like you said, being on time is very important because that can create a domino effect, and that can affect the entire class. Because, like you said, you just can't roll in and out for 20 minutes. It might last 6 to 7 hours.
Oh yeah, well, in all of these classes that we just talked about, there's none of them that's a quick in and out. Now, the ones that can be fairly quick is if you want to sign up with an instructor for what you call personal or private instruction, and that usually is an hour to an hour and a half deal. So you can come in, and that class is geared around your experience level. So if you're a newbie that's never even looked at a handgun before, and you want to learn how to shoot, we can start from day one and get you right on through. If you're someone that's got some experience, but maybe it's been a while since you did any target shooting or anything like that, we can get you kind of refreshed. Go back. We start everybody at the fundamentals. That's our way of making sure that you have the basics down, what you need to have, and then we can go from there. So it's all geared around your particular experience level.
I don't think I've ever asked you this question, talking to George McClain from the Marksman here on Sports Scene. George, of course, you have the right to carry. You own a business that is promoting gun safety and education. Have you ever had to use your gun in your whereabouts on the road in this state or another state?
Thankfully, I have not.
Well, that's a good thing.
And I hope everyone has that same experience. That you do not, but it's the old Boy Scout adage, motto, be prepared. It's I would much rather be prepared to defend myself and my family, and pray to God that I never have to actually use it. But I'm ready and I'm prepared. Should that need arise, and I hope everybody else is in that same boat. We know the law of averages. Somebody's going to have to use that training one day to defend themselves. Mm-hmm. And so we want to make sure that you're trained correctly.
George, my piece of advice is when you work at a retail store and you have to, it gets dark early, you should always walk to your car at closing with someone, and always know that doors should be locked around the back, especially. What is your advice to the public at business and at home for this holiday season?
Well, yeah, you want to just double check everything. If you can identify something that maybe is not as strong as it should be, this would be the time to rectify that situation, being proactive versus reactive after the fact. You can't, if someone is determined to get in, I suppose, you could use Fort Knox as an example, that if someone is that determined, is there a way they can penetrate? Well, yeah, I mean, we found out, in years past that, if you take some type of a projectile, whether that's an airplane or a Mack truck or whatever, and you get it loaded up with the right stuff or going at the right speed, you can probably crack any door, any gate, and penetrate something. We don't want to see that, and hopefully we can educate most people, not to do it. There's no real big solution to rectify terrorism. That's going to happen, I think, regardless of whatever preventative measures that we take, and that's why I say you need to be prepared. Hopefully it doesn't happen to anyone, but you got to take those steps to prepare yourself in case it does.
George, all the best this holiday season. We look forward to talking to you in January.
It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
I want to thank our good friends at Panera Bread in Virginia Beach at 1397 Fordham Drive. Go by and see Caitlin and the friendly staff 7 days a week for some delicious soup, salads, sandwiches, bread, pastries, beverages, right there at 1397 Fordham Drive in Virginia Beach. Give them a call at 361-2425, PaneraBread.com. Food as it should be. Great place in Virginia Beach, right there at 1397 Fordham Drive is Panera. Excellent staff as well. Highlights, gjbtv.com, hrsmhof.com, hamptonroadsonlinemall.com. Folks, take advantage of it. hamptonroadsonlinemall.com. Browse, shop, visit today. gjbtv.com for archive shows. Click the YouTube link on the homepage for great audio and video. Our question of the day presented to our esteemed producer, Andrew, by Buffalo Wild Wings and Newport News. Andrew, what do you enjoy the most about the holiday season, and what do you enjoy the least about it?
Well, it is really hard for me to pick one thing. I love the lights, the trees, the movies that leave you feeling all warm and squishy inside, just all of the sentiments surrounding the holidays. But I truly just love so much singing carols, especially with my kids and my wife. I'll just pick up my guitar, and most days in December we'll just play and sing, and just all those wonderful songs just about Christmas or about Jesus in particular, and just all he's done for us. Just love it so much. I absolutely hate all the shopping and the commercialism and just the stress. We've really reduced most of that, and I wish more people would do that. Just enjoy the holidays for what they were meant to be.
And that's Highlights presented by Buffalo Wild Wings and Newport News. Stay tuned.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win Automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Like them on Facebook and visit them at 2711 Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 485-5555 today.
Thank you, too, for your great show, because it really makes people think about topics that are important. I listen and I love, and I've called in before, too. I just really appreciate your program. I also think that it's good to have debates because it lets us all dig a little deeper. Hey, what does God's Word say about that? So I appreciate your show. I think it's great, and I think we all should be digging deeper into the Word of God and seeking God as to what He's called us to do.
Be sure to tune into Picking Up the Habit every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. here on the Lighthouse 100.1 FM.
And welcome to Sports Scene. I want to thank our regular featured guest, Gina Ippolito from Smithfield VA Events. Gina, how are you?
I am good. How are you? I can't believe it's December already.
Yes, a lot going on with the holidays, and of course, just coming off a nice holiday, and of course, Christmas and New Year's right around the corner. And let's talk about your next event coming up.
And our next event, although it's not until January 18th of 2020, it will be here before we know it.
Sure.
It will be our 7th annual Bob Festival, which is kind of an odd name for a festival, but Bob stands for Bloody Marys, oysters, barbecue, Brunswick stew. We do it on the Saturday of Martin Luther King in the afternoon. It's a lot different. It's under 65,000 square feet of heated tent space, so it is a rocking winter party.
Now, does each guest get a chance to sample each item? Is it all you can eat? How does it work exactly?
Yeah, the ticket itself is an all-you-can-eat ticket. So we have roasted oysters. We have a raw oyster bar. We have our Rotary Club has a absolute wonderful barbecue pitmaster, Dale Steffi, who does this amazing job. And so we serve unlimited barbecue, and then the Trinity United Methodist Church does it's kind of locally famous Brunswick stew. So, which is always nice in January because usually it's a little bit chilly. So,
Sure.
So we have all of those foods and the fixings that go with it, and then separate from that, of course, we sell. Absolute came on board as our vodka sponsor about 3 years ago. So we do have the Bloody Marys, which include a Bloody Mary condiment bar. So you get to dress that up. We've got bacon and extra olives and hot sauce and other kinds of peppers and things you can dress up your Bloody Mary with. But then also starting last year, we also offer 2 specialty vodka drinks. And I'm not sure exactly what those are going to be this year. I'm still working with Absolute on those. But it's an alternative for folks who don't want Bloody Marys. And then, of course, we do both craft beer and Budweiser and Mick Ultra, and then we sell beer and wine. And, of course, we do waters and sodas also. So
very nice. Talking to Gina Ippolito from Smithfield VA Events. Give us again the date and the location where it's at.
It's January 18th. It is at Windsor Castle Park in downtown Smithfield. The DeLoreans are our band, which is always just a great time. They put on a rocking 80s. They're a show band. It's great. The energy is wonderful. We are totally sold out as far as purchasing tickets. The only way you can still get 2 tickets is to book a hotel room in Smithfield, and the hotels are starting to get booked up also. So if you're thinking about coming, you just need to go ahead and make a weekend of it, or at least stay Saturday night. We have Smithfield Station, we have a Hampton Inn and Suites, and then we also have the Smithfield Inn down on Main Street that are all participate in our hotel packages. You also with the party in the afternoon, we do an 8K race in the morning for those diehard winter runners that want something to do in between fall and spring events. We have an 8K race, and so you can also register for that and add up to 2 tickets to your race entry. So there's still, I think I checked yesterday, there's about 50 or 60 tickets left with the 8K run. And in the block of tickets we set aside for that. So that's another way you can get tickets.
This really does promote the town of Smithfield, really as a nice town.
Yeah, it sure does. It's nice. We do 3 fundraisers, 3 festivals a year that are all fundraisers for the local community. And annually we donate anywhere from, last year it was about $240,000 back into the community from the proceeds of the 3 events. Bobfest, we started doing it last year. I think we donated about $45,000 back from this particular event, but the economic impact that it has in Smithfield in the middle of January is wonderful. So Smithfield is very busy this time of year. We've got the Christmas home show and tour this weekend. We've got the evening market December 14th. Our Christmas parade is the 21st, and of course, our shops downtown just do a great job. It's a wonderful place to shop local if you're looking for stuff for Christmas. And but by the middle of January, everybody's kind of stuck in their houses and not much to do. So that's why we started doing this event, and it's been phenomenal. This is our 7th year. It
gives you something to do, definitely, something to look forward to, kind of like an adult Christmas in January.
It is. It's. I think if I got to have fun, this would be probably my favorite event, just because there's nothing else like it in coastal Virginia. I mean, it is January. You've come off the holiday season. You survived Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, and you're just kind of hanging out, and it's fun to go do something. And the energy underneath the tent is just a little crazy. It's a lot of fun. And I like oysters, and I like vodka, and I like beer and wine. So, and I like barbecue and Brunswick stew. So this would be my favorite if I got to enjoy the events.
Right, and of course you have another event coming up in the spring too.
We do. April 18th is the Wine and Brew Fest. Tickets for that go on sale, I don't know, the middle of February. I'll talk to you before then, but let me look at this. They go on sale February 12th at 7 o'clock in the morning and February 13th at 8 o'clock at night. And, of course, we're already working on sponsorships and private chalets and that type of stuff for that event coming up in April.
Very nice. Talking to Gina Ippolito from Smithfield VA Events. Gina, give us your website for 24/7 access.
The website is Smithfield VA Events with an S.com. And from there, you can click on the tab for whichever event you're interested in. There's also a page under Bob Fest for the 8K race if you're wanting more information about that one. And you can get all kinds of information about all three of our events and when tickets go on sale and the types of tickets we have and what's available. And
you guys are, of course, active on social media. I know you're on Twitter.
We're on Twitter. We just have one account. It's Smithfield VA Events. And then on Facebook, we have 4 different accounts. We've got Smithfield VA Events, which is kind of our master one. And then each one of the events has its own Facebook page. So there's the Smithfield VA Bob Fest, the Smithfield VA Wine and Brew Fest, and then in the fall we do the Smithfield VA Bacon and Bourbon Fest. So we kind of counterpost between everything on Facebook. We started the events at different times, and so we ended up with all these Facebook pages. And we've talked about getting them switched down to one, but some people only care about one event, and we've got quite a bit of following on the different pages. So we just keep up with all of them.
That's true. All right, give us the name one more time. Sounds like a fun place to be.
It's SmithfieldVAEvents.com is where you can get all the information, and the Bob Fest is the one coming up January 18th at Windsor Castle Park in downtown Smithfield.
Very nice. Always look forward to talking to you, and that sounds like a great way to break up the winter, kind of break the ice in January.
Absolutely, and hopefully we've been lucky setting up this event. We have dealt with snow and sleet and rain and cold, but actually all 7 years, most of the time on the day of the event, there's times it's been chilly and not perfect, but most of the time we've snuck it in. We've never had to cancel this event, knock on wood, and snuck it in between winter snowstorms that came through here. But we work really hard to make sure we get to pull the events off. I mean, to the point where twice out of the 6 years we've done it so far, we have actually had to plow snow off of between 2 and 3 acres of the field that we hold this event in to get the snow off. So it would either be available to set the tents up or to not melt and make the site too soggy. So, it's always interesting to do a winter event. But hopefully the weather gods will bless us again this year and we will sneak it in.
All right. Very nice, Gina Ippolito. Good luck to this nice January event, Smithfield VA Events, and we look forward to chatting with you more in the first quarter of 2020.
Absolutely, and happy holidays, and may you have a safe and healthy Christmas season, and I will talk to you next year.
You too, Gina. Thank you so much.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win Automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Like them on Facebook and visit them at 2711 Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 485-5555 today. Sports Scene, Hampton Road's premier interview show with Greg Bicouvaris, each Saturday from 10 a.m. to 11.
And you look at that, 4-4 at home, which is just average, 4-3-1 on the road. I mean, you're not going to win any games like that. They were not the same team after they beat the Packers, yet the Packers were a totally different team.
Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter @GregBic and listen weekly as Greg interviews distinguished guests with excellent commentary and insight. Sports Scene, Saturdays at 10 a.m. on the Lighthouse 100.1 FM.
Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us @GregBic on Twitter. Don't forget sports highlights, countdown to 300th show in March of 2020. Brenda Tusing, of course, we are in the month of Christmas. It's December, New Year's Eve right around the corner. How are you?
I am just perfect. Ho, ho, ho.
Yeah.
It's a crazy season, and we love every second of it.
And thank you for letting me post that Facebook Live. Of course, we got.
Oh, that was so wonderful to see you. And we always enjoy seeing you in the store. Everybody does.
Thank you.
But it was really nice of you to come in and do the Facebook Live. Show it. We have such a beautiful store, as you well know, and it's sometimes hard to, what you did was invite people in to see the store.
Sure.
And that's really important for us and very valuable, and we always appreciate that. So thank you.
You think about that. I mean, we didn't have that 10 or 15 years ago, and it's just a new way of marketing live to an audience out there that could be in Virginia or elsewhere in Hampton Roads.
Oh, it is totally we've been open 13 years.
Right.
And I would even say to you that 13 years ago, which isn't really a long time, but I did not value or rely on social media nearly as much as I do now. I mean, the applications for it are remarkable. Again, showing people inside the store, having people actually meet our people, see our products, see how we do things, see us actually dipping apples, dipping strawberries. It's the opportunities are only limited by your imaginations and sometimes the time.
Yeah. I mean, Facebook is really just a pleasant way of saying we're here and we're ready to serve you.
Yeah, exactly.
So what is the theme for the month of December?
Well, let's see. The holidays. Period. End of story.
Sure.
The holidays. We do a lot of corporate gifting, and so when people order for corporate, I just worked with a gentleman yesterday, and he has 30 gift baskets, and we're delivering some locally, and we're shipping some all over the country. So it's a very busy time, both front of the house and back of the house. But our store is beautiful. All the Christmas colors, the blues we have lend themselves really well to Hanukkah gifts. We just have a little bit of everything. We always run specials. This week's special is one of our best lines of truffles, the 8 and the 12-piece boxes. Buy one, get one free. They last till Christmas. We're always so proud of the fact that our products and our store are just beautiful and exquisite gifts. And those gifts can be as little as $5. Mm-hmm. And you can give something really nice to the person that, cuts your hair, does your nails, your children's teachers. Kids have so many teachers these days.
Sure.
And you can't afford to go out and buy a whole lot for everybody. So we have wonderful small gifts, stocking stuffers, but also beautiful gift baskets ranging up to the couple $100 range. So from $5 to $200, we've got it.
It's amazing, too, when you say that, you talk about the kids, but even the adults, it brings out the kid in them when they go to your store. And
you're so right. They walk in the door, especially people that have not been there before, and they walk in and the first thing they do is they see it, obviously, but it's the smell. They're like, oh my gosh, it smells so good in here. And then they get really excited because in our store, you're not just standing there looking at things. We have samples, and if something's not out that you're interested in, we'll give you a sample. We're a very involved store of people. We're very we want people to get excited about chocolate, and you have to have them taste it in order for them to create that adventure for them. We want it to be an experience. We don't want you to just walk in, buy something, put your money down, and leave. We want you to really experience something while you're there.
Absolutely. Talking to Brenda Tusing from the Royal Chocolate, and really there's something for everyone there. But it's amazing the season, too. In the summer, you might want to get a drink there, a cool drink, and maybe get some chocolate. In the winter, you might want to get a more warmer drink, but of course, get some chocolate for comfort food and to take you away. Winter can be harsh, and sometimes it takes you away from the distractions of life.
Right. But, we also have a really nice fireplace and a seating area.
Sure.
So you can come in. We have hot chocolates. We have a peppermint hot chocolate and a spicy Maya. It's got a little kick to it. It's really good. So we have all the hot chocolates. We have, of course, coffee and tea. But, yeah, you can absolutely just get a nice cup of hot chocolate. Maybe you want a truffle or a little something chocolate, sit down at the table and enjoy yourself. But we also find that it's a great time. We do chocolate fondue in the store. So you can get a melted container, a bowl of chocolate, and 4 things to dip in it. And you can share that at the table. Or we can make that for you to go. Sometimes people, it's a long day, and they want something special. But they don't have time maybe to come in and sit down. So they'll order a fondue, and we'll package it up, and they take it home. Enjoy it after dinner with their family. Maybe with a little bit of wine. Who knows?
Or something else.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, talking to Brenda Tusing from the Royal Chocolate. And, of course, January is always a new beginning, and you start for everybody. But, of course, why not bring in some resolution with some good chocolate?
Yes, resolve to eat only good Belgian chocolate from the Royal Chocolate. Hey, and do I have a minute to mention New Year's Eve?
Sure.
Town Center, big event. The DeLoreans are there this year. they are such a wonderful local band. They have their own fan club following. They're a huge hit. But they will be there for New Year's Eve, and it's all free, open to the public. Very family-friendly event. Bring the kids if you care to. But that goes on all New Year's Eve. And then, of course, I don't know if people haven't been to Town Center lately, it's stunning. We have huge walk-in snow globes, perfect photo op kind of things. Santa's cottage is there. Santa's there certain times of the days and weekends. It's a huge tree. There's music. It's a wonderful, sort of magical place to be.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a magical place to be. And you talk about one thing, too. America's favorite pastime, my dad always used to say, is going out to eat. You are still an eating and drinking establishment, meaning that you can go there, relax with your friends, visit with your friends, get some chocolate, get some a candied apple or whatever, get a warm drink, and visit. But you look at retail in general, Brenda. I know you're big into retail. There has to be a reason for you to go to another store in the cold weather, especially.
Sure. Oh, we're very aware of that. People don't just, again, that's part of the reason we like to be an experience. We like you to try something different when you're there. Look around and see what we have. Try our samples. Sit down and relax and watch the world go by at the window front and, have some hot chocolate or something. It's not, it's not like you just have to stop in and pick up a prescription and pay for it and go. That's boring when you're talking about retail. We want you to come in and really want to stay there and want to come back and want to bring your friends. And let's say to them, hey, look at this really cool shop I found. And we're all about local. Of course, all of us are local that own the store and work there. And so it's just a wonderful place to be. And that's what we like about it. I like to go there to work. I like to be there. It's a good place.
Absolutely. Not only is it a good place, and I think the town center is very, smart for not trying to put businesses that are similar so close to each other. I think a lot of times you see a lot of businesses that don't make it or don't sustain for 5, 10, or 13 plus years like you, because there's similar businesses right next door. There was one place in Newport News that sold cakes, and right next to it was a cookie store. And I'm like, and it didn't last.
Yeah, I mean, some of that, I was listening to someone, a marketer, and they said there's usually, if the area is thriving, there's enough business for everyone. And we sort of feel like that, too, and we try to set ourselves apart. People come in and they think we're a franchise because of the way we look and the things that we offer. We have other stores in Town Center. We have a quiche place, and she does wonderful baked goods, by the way. A crepe place that has dessert crepes. And so there are other similar, all the restaurants, of course, have dessert. So we have to set ourselves apart. And I think we've done that very well.
You sure have. Brenda, give us your hours and your location.
We are open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Sunday, we're open 12 to 5. We're located in the Virginia Beach Town Center, 164 Central Park Avenue. You can always find us on Facebook. We do have a website. You can actually purchase things. Our whole store isn't on there, mostly our gift baskets and apples and gift boxes, but that's theroyalchocolate.com. We'll have some special store hours. We close, of course, early for Christmas Eve. We'll be closed Christmas Day and a day or two after, and then we're open for New Year's Eve. For all the partiers, we'll be there.
It sounds
hot
like
chocolate.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Brenda, all the best to you and your staff, and we look forward to talking to you again in the very near future. And
thank you, Greg. You have a wonderful holiday, and thanks for allowing me to be part of your show. I really appreciate it.
I love everything you guys do, Brenda. You're part of the family. Sports Scene will continue after these messages.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win Automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Like them on Facebook and visit them at 2711 Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 485-5555 today. What tees you off? Presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
And I want to thank our good friends at Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville. Go by and see Mike and the staff this holiday season and the New Year's as well. Great, spacious, nice dining area. Lunch and dinner daily, 7 days a week. Burgers, steaks, soup, salads, appetizers, seafood, pasta, chicken, ribs, something for everyone. Appetizers, desserts, beverages, dine-in or carry out. They deliver at 1255 Fordham Drive in Virginia Beach. Give them a call at 523-4832. That's 523-4832. Great place to dine is Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville in Virginia Beach as well. What teased me off, Andrew, I've said it before, I'll say it again till I'm 120 years old. Driving at night long distance is just very difficult.
Yeah, I like that there's no traffic. I've got friends that they leave at 8 p.m. to go on a trip. I don't like that, but I appreciate the not so much traffic. The sun's not in your eyes, but yeah, staying awake and being alert is a challenge.
It is, and also there's not enough lights on the road. Besides the cars, you start leaving somewhere at 3 or 4 in the morning, or even at night, because it gets dark early pretty much now till the spring. The fact that there's not enough street lights on the interstate either.
Yeah, I kick on those brights if there's no one, near me, because, visibility, especially around here, need it.
Speaking of which, bright lights being on you, though, is not easy, whether it's local or regional.
Oh, absolutely.
When you have to ask for napkins constantly and refills, Andrew, when you have a lot of people in your party, you're going to spill things, you're going to need napkins, and it just seems like when you do, it's a chore for the waiter or the waitress.
Yeah, I've just come to the conclusion that some people are good at waiting tables, some people aren't. There's just some people that they just somehow figure out how to keep the drinks and the napkins and everything else where they need to be, and some of them just don't seem to have that. I don't know, but it just seems like a crapshoot. I don't know. I go and it is what it is, I guess.
It is a crapshoot because you can see the facial expression like, oh, God, I got to make another effort to go get an iced tea or a napkin. All right, basketball players not aware of the shot clock, Andrew. Let's say you got 24 seconds or 35 seconds. Don't go past that time limit. You know the drill. It makes you look like a bad player and a bad coach as well.
Yeah, that's a rookie mistake, if even rookie mistake. That's just fundamental basketball. So if you're doing that, man, that looks bad on you, and that looks bad on the whole franchise.
Folks, just to give you a little advice, getting a tooth extracted is not fun. That's what teased me off as well. So if you notice something during the holiday season, go see a dentist or orthodontist.
Yeah, it's funny when you bring that up, and I'm having a little trouble with a tooth, and I've been going back and forth. Do I call a dentist today? Do I not? Do I just wait until January? So I'm thinking maybe I should go ahead and call and see if they can do something before Christmas.
Yep, finally, preoccupied bank tellers who, don't give out enough information. I know a lot of people don't go to the bank as much, but Andrew, being in business, you still get checks, you still get snail mail, and you have to deal with bank tellers once in a while. Please try to be pleasant.
Yeah, in the bank and my other career, I'm at the bank a lot, and they've just moved to it's just a computer screen when you go through the drive-through, and you're doing everything with a machine, and then the person's just there on a monitor, and man, that's just killing me not having that person there. The machine doesn't count right constantly. I do wish that banking would become a little bit more personal again, a little bit more friendly and professional.
All right, that's what teased me off on Sports Scene.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win Automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Like them on Facebook and visit them at 2711 Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 485-5555 today.
Thank you, too, for your great show, because it really makes people think about topics that are important. I listen and I love, and I've called in before, too. I just really appreciate your program. I also think that it's good to have debates because it lets us all dig a little deeper. Hey, what does God's Word say about that? So I appreciate your show. I think it's great, and I think we all should be digging deeper into the Word of God and seeking God as to what He's called us to do.
Be sure to tune into Picking Up the Habit every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. here on the Lighthouse 100.1 FM.
And now get back to basics with Ray Gessner here on The Lighthouse. Hi, I'm Ray Gesson with the Step in Time Chimney Sweeps. In Galatians, there's a thing in the Bible that says you reap what you sow. There's people who call it karma. Some people say that, hey, if you do good deeds, it's good deeds will come back on you and things like that. But in the end, if you're nice to people, then they're going to be nice back to you. So be nice to people. I'm Ray Gesson with the Step in Time Chimney Sweeps. God bless you, and you can find me at chimneysweep.com.
I want to thank our outstanding guests today, Bill Bishop, George McClain, Gina Ippolito, Brenda Tusing. For more, go to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link for great audio and video. So for Andrew, I'm Greg Bicouvaris. Happy New Year, and we'll talk to you soon.